Morning. Just going to pause the recording while we wait for a few people to join. Recording again. Welcome back, NVivo Part 2. Hope you're all having a lovely time wherever you are watching this. Today, we're going to be learning about cases and case classifications, and we are going to be doing that later on. First part of today is about learning a few extra things about coding and how to structure your codes that we sort of didn't get to cover yesterday. So like last time, like yesterday, if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. Feel free to unmute and ask them whenever they come up. There's no worries, especially with such a smallish group today as well. There's really no worries there. As always, the session is going to be recorded. If you need a copy of the recording, you can send me an email. This email address here. Oh, pop that in. And you can send me an email if you have any questions, if you want access to the recordings, anything like that. Cool. All right. So today we're going to learn a little bit more about how we go about coding. So I'm going to show sort of the sort of organizational parts of how you rename codes, how you create hierarchies, how you can make a few little changes and a little adjustments that you might find particularly useful. Same as yesterday, the cat's decided that she's like really digging, like it's really windy outside. We have like view onto a garden. She's just kind of looking out there, being like very, very interested in everything sort of flying around. It's really cute. So my eyes would probably be over there pretty regularly. She's really, really adorable. And then once we've done that, we're then going to have a look at cases and case classifications. They're a little bit more advanced, so I'd like to spend most of today going over them. I think they're really important, particularly if you are working on interviews, if you're working on focus groups or survey data, where certain aspects or attributes of your participants need to sort of be understood on their own, age, gender, place in the workforce, things like that. Classifications in cases give us a really nice way of engaging with that. And they also give us the opportunity to use a really, really interesting, I think, feature of NVivo, which we're going to look at next week. Oh, no, I'm doing it tomorrow. We're going to look at it on Friday. I do think that some of what we learned today, the importance of it might not be super clear until parts 4 and 5. So do stick with me. There's only so much that I can do in an hour. And again, any questions about this stuff, I'm always happy to answer them. So let's have a look at some strategies for organizing our codes. So a little bit of a story, which is that when I was doing my honors thesis, which was a while ago now, and I feel old, I'm not. I'm very young and spry and dapper. I took my research to my supervisor and sort of showed him what I'd done in NVivo, and it was a bit of a mess. And he said that it was a good first attempt, but that needed to do a fair bit of work. Consider this a failure at the time, but the more qualitative work that I've done, the more I understand that this is a pretty natural part of qualitative research. It's a very iterative process, and as someone who's kind of not used to, but always expecting themselves to get everything perfect on the first go, bit difficult to wrap my head around, but you won't be perfect on the first go when you are doing qualitative analysis, at least in my experience. You're going to make a few mistakes. There are going to be patterns that you don't see right until the end, and you're going to need to reorganize things. There's going to be a few things that need to be changed. And so looking at these strategies that I'm going to talk about now is one way that you can go about iterating and changing and moving things around, which is really worth talking about. So I'll show you how to do that, and I'll give you a little bit of time to do it as well. So I just have opened the project that we had worked on yesterday. And I've already done, because I had a little bit of extra time, I already did one of the things that we can do, which is to create these hierarchies. And so just to show you how I did that again, I'm going to right click, create a new code. I'm going to call this one question 5, because I know that there's a 5th question in there somewhere. And to create a hierarchy, all I need to do is left click, hold it down, and drag it over to this questions area here. And I can create a nice little hierarchy there where I can sort of minimize organizationally, and I've got all of my questions stored underneath there. You can also right click sort of directly on, we call this a parent code. Right click on this parent code and we can create one for question 6. And here you can sort of directly create one without needing to drag it over. If you make a mistake when doing this, on the Mac version, it's really nice. You can drag the code out of the hierarchy. So if you make a mistake, you just drag it out. We can't do that on the Windows version. Instead, what we need to do is we need to right click and we can cut or copy. We've got cut and copy features. Francesca, yes, question.
Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Sorry, I am super new to qualitative research, even though I am a postdoc. And I just have one question about this organizing question versus codes. So when you say like automatically creates, do you mean that it recognizes that that's a question? No.
No. What I meant by
No.
automatic in that case
Yeah.
was just that it creates it underneath this hierarchy. So if when you've got it selected and you right click and you create a new code
Okay.
on a code like this, it'll create that code underneath it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you right click anywhere else, it will just create it at this sort of top flat level up
I
here.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you suggest basically to have or your data organized both by question and then codes it something else in some way.
So
Because
yeah,
yeah.
it's a difficult question for me to answer because every
Mm-hmm.
project is different.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
love being as organized as I can be. So if I was doing a project, I would do it. I would have questions because I really like having these because it's going to give me an opportunity to explore the answers to each of the questions that I've asked in the interview. Um, and then rather than having a theme up here immediately, which I might do, but I tend to have much more of these codes here. I'll also have my research questions. So research question 1, what are community perspectives
Mm-hmm.
on development? I like to, because it's really easy. Pretty sure you can't have a question mark in those. Yeah. It's really easy when you're doing qualitative work to sometimes forget the aims of the project because you have such a rich data set. And so you find yourself kind of just going in and inductively coding everything, which is fine. And then you end up with a big problem where you don't really know how to articulate it in relation to your research questions. It's a problem I've had in my PhD. And so what I recommend is that, you have when you're coding your research questions very, very obviously there in your project. And then you can say, okay, so community perspectives on development are maybe one of the codes that I've identified as sort of like overfishing in the region, right? People are talking about that a lot. So I can put that under research question 1, and then you start to build out your themes from there. It doesn't work for everyone, which is why I don't sort of suggest it as a completely blanket piece of advice, but that yeah, it's something that I recommend is having your research questions super available. I like doing this organizational stuff. I find that it's quite useful. Um, yes, that would be my kind of general advice there.
Thank you. Thank you. I truly appreciate it. I come from a quantitative
Yeah, it's
background.
not
So
not an uncommon situation
yeah,
in this training and things like that. So
yeah,
yes, no, that's
thank you.
no worries. So yeah, that's one of the things we can do is we can create these nice little hierarchies. One of the things we can also do, if we so desire, is we can rename codes. So if you left click on a code and then left click again, but really slowly, because if you double left click really quickly, it's just going to open the code. But if you left click really slowly, you can rename a code. So we might change migration to immigration and emigration for whatever reason. I don't know why we do that, but just it's an example. Bear with me. We can change the names of codes. We can, usually you're doing this to make them broader or more narrow, depending on how your project is going. I would strongly recommend whenever you make a change to a code's name that you open it up and just check that everything that's in there still applies to the way that you've renamed it, and also that you in a research journal in OneNote or something, and there's stuff we'll look at next week that's quite along these lines. You also note down why you made the change and when you made the change as well. That's really important in terms of doing your due diligence. The other thing that I want to show you is a little bit technical, but it's really, really useful, which is something called aggregation. Aggregation's great. Um, I think mental blank. I don't think I showed you how to copy and paste, so I'll just do that very quickly. It's really straightforward. If you wanted to take anything out of here, so if you wanted to take immigration and emigration out of connection and history for whatever reason, you can right click, you can cut, and then you can paste wherever you like. And you can paste it and then you can drag it around again. So that's how you can remove codes from other areas. You can also select two codes, right click, and there used to be, where to go? If you right click on something, there's a merge option. I think you have to cut and then right click and you can merge the codes together. So you can stitch codes together as well if you want to. So there's a few options there. Those are a little bit more advanced. I don't use them myself. I use the cut and paste, but I tend not to use the merge function. But to do that, you just cut and then right click on the thing you want to merge and stick it in there. There's just so much NVivo to talk about. The more technical thing I wanted to show you is something called aggregation. And what aggregation does is it takes all of the data that's coded into the children. So you can see family history here has two files and two references. And even though it's underneath connection and history, connection and history actually has nothing in it. If I double click on connection and history, there is a completely blank code here. There's nothing in it because NVivo doesn't automatically assume that anything that you've coded to the children should be coded to the parent. And that's because, you don't need to clog up NVivo, right? There's no need for all of my questions to be coded up to questions. And so we have to tell NVivo that we want to have this feature turned on. And to do that, we're going to do our lovely right click and we're going to select aggregate coding from children. And what that does is that will automatically and ongoing code anything to the children to the parent. So if I go to Dorothy's interview here and I put in something into the family history code, you can see that as I sort of select and code this data, it goes up with the connection and family history. NVivo's this is something NVivo's actually quite smart at. It keeps track of what was coded to the children and what was coded to the parent. So if I ever decide that I don't want to have aggregation turned on anymore, I can turn it off and it will remember everything that was only coded to family history and connection and history, our parent code, will remain empty, which is, I think, really nice. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to play around with that. Have a go at renaming some of the codes, moving them around, try out the copy and paste features, and making sure that you can create those hierarchies. Almost every NVivo project, I reckon 99% of the projects that I've seen use hierarchies in some way, whether that's to structure their thematic analysis, whether that's to just keep things organized. There's loads of different ways that you can use hierarchies. Just have a little play around, refamiliarize yourself as well with the process of coding, selecting data, dragging it over and things like that. And I'll give you a little bit of time to do that. If you have any questions, ask them. We'll give about 3 minutes. So at 20 past, we can keep going. Does anyone have any questions or anything? All relatively straightforward. Give you a couple more minutes just to hang around with this feature and get comfortable with NVivo again.
Alex, just to catch up on yesterday again, when you were coding questions, which parts of the content did you drag across to each question?
Yeah, so this is it's not really a right or wrong answer for this one. For me, what I did is I just took, everything and put it in question 1, and then took everything for question 2.
Yeah.
And
so given that there are names in here, does NVivo recognize that the names are
nothing automatically? It's no, it's
yeah, cool.
So
Thanks.
one of the things that NVivo can do, and this interview is formatted in such a way that it does allow this. And this is a bit of a tangent, but if you, in the document tab, you select auto code. If you select auto code using the style or structure or the speaker name, it can do some automatic coding, so long as you've used the exact styles that they've used here, which is not automatic in most transcriptions. So you can go through and take, I think it's heading.
So yeah, but it sounds like if you put the time and effort into that, you could if you were really consistent across all your transcription files, you could just automate a few things.
You can. And I don't hate it as an option. I do think that, to be honest, auto coding is a really, like, it takes a little bit of time to set up, and it doesn't always work. But yeah, I mean, one of the things that I find is that auto coding, so if I do that, here you go, it's got all of my connections and things like that. It's only done them for the first file. You can select, I think, multiple files, and you can auto code them using the structure. But in my experience, it's almost an identical time commitment to go through your interview transcript and set up, style guides for each of your questions and things like that. Is probably going to take you about as much time as it takes to just highlight the answer to question 1 and drag it into something. But it's an option that you can use. I'm not against it, but I think it's just because a lot of transcription software doesn't do anything like that, that it's a bit of a, it's a bit of a time sink for projects. All right, so going to move on now, and I'm going to start looking at cases. Cases are wonderful. I love cases. They are going to take quite a little bit of time for me to cover today, and I'm going to cover them in a few steps. And so cases are a special type of descriptive code, which we spoke about last week, right? So you know how questions, there's just a code that is basically organizational. Cases are quite similar. They're just stored in a special area of NVivo, and they get some special bits of functionality added on to them. Cases are, in NVivo's terminology, a unit of observation in your research project. They're a special type of code. And examples of cases are things like your specific interviewees. So in this project, Barbara, Charles, Dorothy, they are all cases. Individually, they are cases. And those cases fit together into a case classification. Now, why bother doing this? What's the point? The point is that we create, I mean, NVivo is a relational piece of software, but we're essentially creating overlaps in our data that we are then able to ask NVivo to bring out for us. And so we could have our topic coding, which will intersect with the case of whoever was mentioning that code, which can intersect with a particular classification. And so just as a sort of example here, this is a case, there's me, maybe I speak about precarity and I'm a casual employee, can have all of that information in NVivo, and we can pull that out, and potentially we can observe trends and patterns in our data that are really difficult to do manually if you're just sort of eyeballing it. which is really nice feature to be able to have. So we're creating overlaps, we're creating intersections, we are layering lots of different types of coding on top of all of our text, and we're finding out wonderful things along the way. And the way that we pull all of these things out is something that I cover, particularly in part 4, do a little bit of it in part 3. So this just repeats what I've said. If you want a copy of the slides, I like to sort of repeat these things over the course of the training to create all of these intersections. They're very, very important. There are questions that you need to answer when you are creating your cases, which are going to be specific to your research project. So in this file that I have, it's actually quite straightforward because each file is a single interview with a single interviewee. So I'm not too worried that I can say, okay, well, Barbara is going to be my case, and that's it. However, a couple of sort of other examples where you might have to think a little bit more critically about what you want to code as a case would be, what if you're interviewing a couple? There's a few in the sort of NVivo's got this nice little sample project that it comes with. They're interviewing couples. They treat that couple as a single unit of observation. So it's like Howard and Dorothy or something like that gets treated as one case. You might treat them as separate cases, or you might have one case for the couple, and then because they're codes, right, underneath them, you'd have a case for each individual. That's a decision that you can make. Similarly, for focus groups, you can have the entire focus group as a case, or you can have each focus group participant as a case. Lots and lots of things to think about. It's not always people. It can be institutions and organizations. So if you were doing document or policy analysis about, EBAs at universities, you might have the University of Melbourne as a case. Monash University is a case. Swinburne University is a case. All of the things like that. There's, the idea is that you want to create a space in your project that says, this is all of the data that relates to this really important aspect of my research, which are the sort of people, places, institutions, or whatever that I am researching. And it is, at some point, I will want to be able to know or compare different cases to each other. That's the sort of central way of thinking about it. Now, I'm going to show you how to create a case first, and then I'm going to move on to a discussion of classifications because it's a little bit confusing. I want to ease us in by focusing on the easier part of the task. So if I go back to NVivo, I want to move, and like I said in yesterday's session, right, the whole course is about going from top to bottom. So we've been in the coding area. We're now going to move down into the cases area, and we're going to open up our cases and select cases. So our cases area should now be here. We get a nice little introduction. They're people, places, organizations, events, other entities. Not all research needs cases. I don't want you to think that you have to use them, but I do think that they're really cool and they're really worth knowing about. And when I started out teaching NVivo, knowing that cases and classifications existed was the biggest piece of advice that I was giving researchers who were trying to ask very specific questions of their data and assuming that NVivo was able to sort of automatically answer them. NVivo is not that smart. You need to be able to tell it that these certain things exist in your project, and this is where you do that. So I am going to create my first case here. It is for this interview here, and I'm just going to make sure that some of you are at home or at work are paying attention. What should I call this case? Type it in the chat. You got the file open there. What am I going to call my first case?
Interview Dorothy?
Yeah, you could call it Interview Dorothy. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. I think I just call it Dorothy, but you certainly can call it interviews as well. I've seen, particularly if you're working with lots of different data sets, like if you're working with a survey, interviews, things like that, it's good to kind of label the context in which they are a case. But because I'm only working with interviews, I'm just going to call them Dorothy for this time. And I'm going to click OK. And now we get to do, we get to make another decision, which is how much of this file do I code to this case? And this is something that I'm a bit more particular about because I consider cases to be primarily organizational. All I code to the case are the exact words that were spoken by that case. So I don't take any of the headings. I don't take any of the extra information. I just take the words that they said and I pop them through. And great question, Christine. Attribute table. Don't worry about that. We're going to look at it in like 10 minutes. It's very complicated. We're going to look at it in a little bit. It is the second half of learning about cases. So there's no need to worry about it for now. I'm going to show you how to set up everything that attributes are involved with, but they are essentially how you describe your case. Their age, gender, occupation, all of these things. They're a way of describing them, and we're going to look at that very, very soon. For now, all we're doing is something that I find probably the most therapeutic part of my research projects that I've worked on, because it's really straightforward. I don't have to do much interpretation. This is often the first thing that I do when I open up an NVivo project. I don't teach it in the first part because it's just kind of meaningless without the extra stuff like coding. But often I have had a relatively messy period of data collection. And this process of just taking text and dragging in paragraphs and like watching a number go up is just so satisfying. It's like just tons of dopamine flooding my brain because it's that kind of appeal to just a due process. Like I feel like I'm organizing things well when I do this. It's why I really like having codes for questions and things like that. I just really like having areas of projects that are just nice and set up. Depending on how many interviews you have, this can take some time, but you just chuck on a podcast. It's not really work that you need to be particularly deep in thought when you do it. You can just code them up. You can do the same for Barbara's interview here as well. That's creating a case. And what I'd like you to do now, just for a few minutes, is create ideally all 4 cases for all 4 interviews and just code some data to those cases. The data that we code to the cases isn't going to be super relevant today, but it is going to be something that we are going to be looking at tomorrow. So if you want to take some time to do that, that would be fantastic. And yeah, I'm just going to be doing that as well because I'm teaching it tomorrow. So take some time. And if you have any other questions, please do ask.
Sorry, Alex. For the cases, are we always kind of highlighting everything? If we're doing like people, for example, are we always highlighting everything they said, or like?
It's an open question. So for me, I like doing everything that they said because it gives me, there's 2 reasons I like doing that. The first one is it removes a lot of the fluff and formatting, which means that if I want to, and this is something we'll look at in part 4, if I want to ask like what the most frequent words were that my interviewees used, if I'm really interested in that kind of stuff, word frequency, then I can use my cases as my data for that because the files have all of the headings and all the questions and formatting and things like that. Whereas my cases are like this clean area where I can just have exactly what they said. The second part is that it makes it a bit cleaner when we are going to be presenting some other data as well. So there's some things we'll look at in parts 3, 4, and 5, where we're going to be creating things called framework matrices and matrix codes. And I just find that it makes the presentation a little bit neater of some of those results. You don't have to. Dana's put in the chat that they've created the whole cases using the whole interview, which is something that you can do automatically. And I've seen lots of people do it. I think it's fine. Like if you are a bit time pressured, or if it's not really that important, you can go and code the entire interview. This is just a nice thing to know about in NVivo, which is that if you've coded something accidentally, so say I've accidentally coded Henry's bit here to Barbara, if you right click, there's an uncode option and you can uncode it from that case if it's been done recently. Alternatively, if you open up the code and there's anything in there that you don't like, you can highlight it, right click, and you can uncode it from this code. So you can always remove stuff if you need to. I always find it's more time consuming to remove than it is to add. So ideally, if you can add stuff rather than remove stuff, that works quite well. Yeah, I think I addressed 2 questions there. I'm not convinced I addressed either of them completely well, but is that all right?
No, that answers my question. Thank you. I was also wondering for cases. So, for example, if you wanted to kind of mention, I guess, like a specific characteristic of your interviewees, for example, their position at work or things like that, can you use cases to do that?
That is exactly what you use cases for, and that is exactly what we're about to look at once we've done this. So yeah, just I want this to go on the recording as well. This is the most engaged class because you have anticipated exactly what classifications are used for. 2 of you have done it in the chat already, and I imagine many of you are thinking about it. It is the second half of what we're looking at. For now, we're just doing this kind of like little bit of organization just to make things a bit easier for us later down the track. But yes. And yes, Christine, you can auto code by speaker. However, this is worth mentioning that it doesn't always work because the way that NVivo recognizes speaker is a bit of a pain. And if you have, and I've consulted with someone on this maybe started this week, and because they were doing focus group interviews, or the interviewer was mentioning the interviewee's name, it just got confused and didn't work. So, I mean, it's another option. I think if you can use the style guide rather than speaker name because it's much less prone to error. The style guide is basically just telling NVivo exactly where to look. And so that's going to be much less of a hassle. That's why in this one, right, they've got Barbara. This isn't just Barbara and it's been bolded and italicized. This, I think, is like a heading 3 or a emphasis or something like that. So even in their own sample data, they use the style guides to drive the automated analysis part, the automated labeling, rather than relying on the speaker name functions, just because they are a little bit more prone to error. But it's worth a shot, definitely. I think if you can, there's nothing that you can't undo in NVivo. So if you needed to sort of do the auto coding and you tried it out by speaker and that didn't work, then maybe investigate going back and adding the style guides and things like that. Good option if you're working with lots and lots of data in your projects. Also worth mentioning at this juncture, if you are working with survey data, NVivo will automatically sort everything out for you for cases. So whenever because it's so structured spreadsheets, if you import surveys into NVivo on the Windows version, it will create a case for every single row, every single respondent in your survey. So it sorts that out as well, which is really good for larger bits of data. Cool. All right. Does anyone have any questions about this while we're going, or is there any sort of problem areas, or are we happy to move forward and start looking at attributes? Might give you a little bit more time to do some coding, actually.
Sorry, you mentioned that when you put the survey data, it will automatically. Is it automatically putting into cases, or do I need to?
So if you're working with surveys, and I ran a special session on this, so I don't want to touch on it too much.
Okay.
But if you import from Excel, just got a little sample data set here. It will walk you through this little wizard, and it'll tell you all these different areas that it's going to store your data. So all of your respondents will be stored as cases. All of your closed questions will be attributes, which we're just about to look at, and all of your open-ended questions like what we've done in our codes area, will be stored as codes. So there's a nice little bit of functionality there. Cool. All right. So I'm going to move on now to talk about attributes and classifications because they're a bit complicated. I do apologize for leaving this towards the end of the training when I imagine your brains might be a little bit fried. The cat has just started like doing that kneading thing, which is just so cute. And I think she thinks she's like also typing on a keyboard. That's what I like to imagine. And I think she thinks she's like being really helpful with this this class today. So attributes are complicated, but really straightforward when we think about them a little bit. Basically, what they are is they are a spreadsheet in NVivo, classification, spreadsheet in NVivo that we are just going to be putting in data about our cases. And there are case classifications, which is what we're looking at today. There are also file classifications, which will, if you want to sort those out, things like, title, author, date, place of publication. That's the kind of thing that a classification sheet for a file will contain. For cases, if we're working with people, things like age, gender, occupation, it's up to you. You get to create it. And in all likelihood, there's a very good chance that you already have something like this around in Microsoft Excel that you've used to track information about your participants previously, historically, because it's often a very, very common part of qualitative research. Now, the workflow that I have here is what we're going to be doing is we are going to be creating a new classification for our interviewees. We are then going to be putting some attributes in that classification, and the attributes are the columns of our classification sheet. And then we are going to be telling NVivo that the cases that we just created in the previous step belong to that classification. So this was the attributes thing that Christine mentioned in the chat. We're going to be telling them that they belong, and then we're going to be matching up the cases to the attribute. And so saying that, Barbara is this, she does this, all of this kind of stuff. It will look a bit like this. This is a pictorial representation of what it's going to sort of look like. So in the columns, we have our attributes. In our rows, we have our cases. And then we fill in all of the data wherever available. This is actually really grim reading for me because I created this when I was 24. I've been relying on it for years. I am 27 now. I am ancient. My knees crack sometimes when I stand up, and I want that on the recording so that people know about it and they know that I've aged and grizzled. Although I think I look a little bit less disheveled than I did during my pandemic recordings. Anyway, I'm going to show you how to do them now. I'm going to show you how to create a classification and an attribute, and it's going to be confusing. And many of you may stray from the path that I'm about to demonstrate, but trust me, follow me through. I'm going to ask questions so that we kind of try and stick to the right path here. When I ask these questions, like when I asked about the names of cases, there are with some of these ones, there are actually going to be wrong answers. But this is a sort of thing I've been mentioning to my just people. I get about 30 things wrong a day. I am a mistake fiend. Don't be worried about making a mistake in an online NVivo recording. Yes, it is recorded, so people watching them online might find out that you gave a wrong answer, but these get watched by maybe like 100 people at best. So I wouldn't worry too much. And if you type your responses in the chat, they'll remain forever anonymous. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to navigate away from our cases to our case classifications area. And what we want to do is close that. We want to right click and we want to create a new classification. And does someone want to type in what they think I should call this classification? There's a couple of examples down here at the bottom, which might guide you. But what should I call my classification?
Person, interviewee.
Yep, perfect. Both of those are correct answers, person or interviewees. I'm going to go with interviewees because I'm only working with interview data. If you were working with lots of different data types, working with interviewees, focus groups, other things. You might want to generalize to person, but for us, I'm going to just keep it as interviewees for this one and give it a description if we want. I'm going to click OK. Now, if anyone here is from the humanities, arts, or social sciences, you'll be really good at this stuff. Quantitative people just struggle with this one. This is a very, very deconstructed version of an Excel spreadsheet. It is just a single empty cell in the top left corner, and we are going to be filling it in. We're going to be filling in the rows with our cases and the columns with our attributes. Now, what I'm going to show you how to do first is how to create some attributes. Then I'm going to show you how to tell our NVivo cases that they belong to this classification. So I'm going to create an attribute. So I'm going to right click on my case classification and I want to create a new attribute. And does someone want to give me an example of an attribute that I might be interested in? Yeah, all right, cool, wonderful. Occupation or age. So let's go age group, and we get a few options here. So we can give it a description. We can tell NVivo if we think it, what type of data it is. I would recommend keeping it on text unless it was very, very explicitly any of these other things. So we can keep it as text for now. And one of the things that we can do as well in NVivo is we can go to this values area and we can actually add in I think they're called dictionaries of the relevant terms. So we could have 18 to 24. I could click add. I could add 25 to 34, add 35 to 44, and so on. And so you can do this in advance. You don't have to. There's no reason. It can reduce error if you're doing this stuff manually. But I just like to show off that you can create your own set of values. So we've got this attribute, we've got age group, we've got some sample values. I'll click OK, and you now see that it'll appear as a column on our spreadsheet. And I'm just going to do that again for occupation. There's no reason for me with occupation because almost all of them are going to be quite different for this example. There's no reason for me to put in any sample values or anything like that. Perfect. So there, I've got two attributes. And now what I need to do is I need to tell NVivo that the cases that I just created previously belong. So just to recap what we've done so far, in the case classifications area, right click, new classification. We created our classification for our interviewees. We right click on that and we create a new attribute. And we do that twice to create our age group and occupation attributes. Now we want to go back to our cases area. We want to right click on one of our cases. We want to scroll all the way down to where it says classification. And we want to select our classification, interviewees. Now, one case can only ever belong to one classification. It's just something worth mentioning. It comes up once every 3 years. I have someone bring that up. But yes, you can only have it one case, one classification. So I'm going to select Barbara, chuck her in interviewees, and you can see that I now have a row for Barbara. I can do the same for Dorothy, right click, classification, interviewees. Couple of problems that can happen here. Do a little bit of a frequently asked questions. If you're working on a laptop, sometimes this classification thing is just off your screen because NVivo's squished onto your resolution. And so what you might need to do in that case is select something. And if you click item, so if you select an item like a case, in the home tab, there's a little item button. If you select that, that will also give you the classification drop-down menu where you can then select your lovely new interviewees classification. So that's just if you're running out of space there. And now that we've got our classifications here, Alundi, question.
Sorry, so you said that one case, one classification. Sorry, what do you mean? So wouldn't that mean that only Barbara can be an interviewee?
Yeah, what I mean by that is that Barbara can't belong to two classifications. So,
okay.
Yeah, so you can have lots of cases in the same classification. So you can see I've got Barbara and Dorothy in this classification, but I couldn't then also put Dorothy in one that was called person or Twitter user or something like that. You can only have, each case can only be in one classification sheet. Yeah, sorry, it was a bit confusing on my end. Hopefully that cleared it up. So when I've got my classification sheet open here on the right-hand side, what I can do is I can use this drop-down menu for age group to assign Barbara and Dorothy into their age group, and I can then put in their occupation. I think Barbara's a real estate developer, and I was going to put in a joke for Dorothy, but I don't want to defame her. I was going to put in something like cannibal or something like that. Instead, I'll put in something that's far worse, landlady, and put that in there. All right, so that's filling those in. That's creating a classification sheet, and I want to give you lots and lots of time to do that. However, keep in mind that there are easier and many other ways to do this. I've showed you the most comprehensive one because I wanted to demonstrate. You ended up with 2 Barbaras. How do you delete the second one? Depends on where they're showing up. If you have 2 Barbaras in your cases, then you should just be able to right-click on them and select delete. But I might need to troubleshoot that depending on.
It's in the table. So I got a Barbara, and then I got a Barbara with a number 2 next to it.
I mean, I'll have a look at I'll have a look at yours in a little bit. Once I've done this one, because there's a few ways that can come up. So I'll get you to do some screen sharing just in a little bit, if that's all right. There are other ways to do this, so I just want to very quickly mention that. You can, if you have this already in Excel, just import your spreadsheet into NVivo and then just match up the cases. If you want to do that, there's a nice little feature that NVivo has where, if you've already got your cases like this, if they're the same ones that are mentioned in your Excel spreadsheet, it kind of merges them together. So that's a nice little bit of functionality as well. I cover all of that stuff in my collaboration session. So there's an advanced session I run on, not collaboration, there's an advanced session that I run on structured data sets, so surveys, but also working with these classification sheets, where I talk about a few things that you need to be mindful of if you're going to import a classification sheet from Excel. But my general advice, if you're going to do that, just do it the first thing. Just do it straight away. Before you even import your files, import your classification sheet, and you will run into no problems. The only problems are when it tries to overwrite existing data. So I want to give you a little bit of time now to go through and make sure that you're able to create these attributes. So following these steps here, create the classification, create some attributes, tell NVivo that your cases belong to that classification, and then fill in the values. Spend a little bit of time doing that. And Christine, are you okay to share your screen so that I can troubleshoot why you might potentially have 2 Barbaras?
Okay, can you see that, Alex?
Yeah, perfect. Could you could you go to your cases area on the left-hand side? So move away from the case classifications. Yeah, so it's just that there's 2 Barbara cases. So if you delete that second Barbara case, so right-click and select delete, which is sort of in the middle.
Yeah, thanks.
They should disappear. There you go.
Yeah, right. I didn't realize I had to. Thanks.
Oh, no worries.
And if it was like you just never get 2 lines in your case classifications unless you have 2 cases.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. All right. I'll just
Alex, I also have a question. Hi, this is Francesca again. When I created a case classification, instead of the occupation, the second one that I created, occupation, just seems like it didn't come through in the same way that it did for you, and I'm not quite sure what.
Yeah, are you
what
comfortable
happened?
sharing your screen?
I am.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's this one. So can you see that is actually?
Oh yeah, yeah. So what's happened is that you've created occupation as its own separate classification rather than as an attribute. So you can delete occupation. It's gone to rename. If you just left click on it and then just press delete, or
delete.
Perfect. And what you want to do is right click on interviewees.
Yeah.
and create a new attribute. And this time, when you create the attribute as occupation, it should show up. So it's just the second option there. Create occupation and click OK.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay.
No worries.
Good. And the other feature is more like, in case I want to create a new case, that would be, if I do this just like this, and I call it loop, what would that do basically?
So that's a separate classification. So that would be for a separate type of case in your data set. So maybe a set of organizations or focus groups or something like that.
Okay.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it depends on the study that you're doing. I've sometimes seen separate case classifications for things like, okay, you'll have one for your interviewees, maybe you have one for a sort of Twitter data set, and another for something else as well.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Perfect. I'll just pop my my shared screen back on. Does anyone else have any questions while you've still got me?
Yes. So you know how you had put for like the age one, you had put age groups in already.
Yeah.
If you wanted to then go and edit that and maybe add another age group, how would you do that?
Great question. So if we go back into our project, if we go to case classifications, and if we select the one that we want to make a change to, so age group, if we right click and we select attribute properties, that will bring up the same menu, and we can go to this values tab, and then we can add in new values and update it that way. So that's
Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. All right. So we've got 5 minutes left. And what I might do is similar to yesterday, I might wrap up and then I'm here for as long as I need to be afterwards. So if you have any other questions about your own research or anything specific like that, you can ask me, but I'll this just helps to keep the recording nice and short. What we've learned today, it's been a nice day. Weather's really windy, but the sun looks really blue outside. It's great. Cat's having a great time. We've looked at reorganizing some of our codes, so renaming them, creating those hierarchies, and using code aggregation, which are all really useful things to know about. We've then looked at how to code some data into our cases. Fantastic. And how to create a case classification sheet that has those attributes in them, how to then link our cases to that sheet, and then fill in all of those values. And it's going to be, this is why I say that, okay, we've learned how to do that, but we haven't learned what that's good for just yet. And so tomorrow, what we're going to look at is how you can use something called a framework matrix to create a really, I think, a super engaging way of accessing your data. That is often what a lot of supervisors are asking for when they ask you to show off your progress with your coding. And so that's going to be a really, really crucial thing to look at. And then next week in part 4, we're going to look at queries. And there's a few queries that are fantastic if you've worked with your cases and your classifications. And you're going to find that there's some really neat functionality that I think is just really cool to show off in NVivo. So that's going to be it today. Part 3 tomorrow is, yes, we're going to look at that really cool framework matrix thing, but it is a little bit of a detour because we're going to look at a few note-taking things in NVivo as well that I think are really worth mentioning, particularly if you're going to be going and working on a project for quite a long period of time. It's really good to know about these things. That's the same link to the feedback form. Love it if you filled that in again, especially if you're at home watching the recording. That link should still be available unless you're watching this from the year 2355, in which I hope you are doing well against the cyborgs. Please do fill that in if you can. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, you can always send me a lovely little email at my email address there. At the end of the training course on Thursday next week, I'll also share a link to a little community that we have where you can ask questions as well on Slack. That's it for today. Thank you so much. Have a absolutely wonderful day. I am going to be going to my local bakery and buying a delicious little sweet treat ahead of a supervision meeting. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.
Sorry, Alex. I was just wondering, because I'm not able to attend all of the training sessions. Is there a way to just access the videos, or should I email you?
I would definitely email me.
Okay.
So the videos that we're doing currently need a little bit of time to be recorded. So if you want access to some of the more historical recordings, send me an email. That keeping in mind that with tomorrow's session, there's going to be one thing that I show off that isn't in the recordings. It's a new thing that I've learned.